booster ignition, and liftoff, and all systems are go.
Welcome to the Lesbo and the Bean universe. Lesbo and the Bean. Latb, Latb, where mixed martial arts and the UFC get silly. Big silly. Buckle up and move your tray tables to their upright position. And please, somebody shut that baby up. It's time for Lesbo and the Bean.
Welcome back. Another pay-per-view in the books. A lot of people shitting on this card. We might have been some of them. And guess what? It came out. Guns a-blazing. Episode 126 underway. Recap. How much of a fun night did you have last night?
UFC 227. It
showed up.
Dressed to impress. And it really showed up and made all of us naysayers eat our words, I think.
Very true.
And now looking at it too, afterward, it was kind of smart the way they did it. The whole entire fight was little guys. That's why we didn't know a lot of them, because a lot of them were up-and-coming little guys, which is really smart if you think you have the 135 or 125 and 135-pound champions fighting. Then they're all in the same heel schedule, which is kind of what we've wanted the whole time along. So UFC, I hate to say it, but you outsmarted me on this one. It was a really good fight night.
Biggest guys of the night was 185-pounders with Majeta Santos. But before we get there, we have a few other ones that go over. We had Chito Vera starting off the night versus not Burin, the Chinese fighter. Burin looked outclassed. It was a short notice step in for Chito. A lot of people thought Chito was going to win, biggest favorite of the night, and it showed why. In that second round, Chito Vera turned it on, showed his finishing ability, and I think Burin actually gave up a little bit more. I mean, it was a beautiful body shot that put him down. But I think that Burin did really well in the first round, had good pressure, but once he realized, oh, this guy's getting stronger, he was like, all right, time to go. Time to get on out of here. He still has many fights that he can actually win. I like Burin, but Chito, unfortunately, too short of a notice, too high of a step up for him. I don't think it really hurts Burin that much. If anything, he's going to get better from this loss. How'd you like that first fight?
I don't know, how old is Burin going forward?
I think he was like 23, 24.
If he's a young guy, then Cheeto's a perfect experience step for him. I thought Cheeto looked okay, and it's kind of a shame Cheeto's fighting this early on the night. One of the things, besides Cheeto's win, that it was pretty touching, and I like that Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier got touched when they were talking about it, is Cheeto's daughter.
With the neurological issues? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was neurological. Yeah. I actually thought she had a muscle that she had replaced because she couldn't smile for 7 years, and or her first 7 years of her life. And she had this surgery a few weeks ago, and she was first able to smile. And they replaced a muscle in her face from like one in her leg or something, and so she could smile for the first time at her dad, and it was pretty touching. So I'm sure that guy's having the greatest month ever.
Was he actually posted a photo of the smile that his daughter gave? Chito Vera, did he show it up on the screen? I know I saw it last night posting around where he was like, this is why I do it, guys. I think he made it show Senko in the back, just like, hey, look, here's her, and she was smiling at the phone, probably watching on an illegal stream somewhere.
Oh, that's hateful. Why, are you being racist? Because his name's Cheeto?
Because they're in South America somewhere, so you know they ain't getting them good package deals.
He afforded a smile surgery.
That is a good point. Well, that's where all the money went, not the no fight pass. So, doesn't really go further for Chito. He was supposed to win there. Still, love the fighter. Still, you know how we feel here at Latb. We're always on that Chito.
I think Cheeto is the doorman. He's not the gatekeeper. He is the doorman. He's the guy that opens the door so you can get to the gate.
I don't know about that. I could see Chito being in the top 15. He's not, but again, he loses the top 10 guys.
Even if he's the top 15, even if he's the 15th guy, isn't that essentially the gatekeeper? 16th guy?
Doorman,
the 16th guy is the doorman?
Doorman?
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that. We can start to add that to our repertoire. A lot of people use gatekeeper. I like to try to use new lingo, be fresh.
Yeah, like I feel like he's opening he's like,
come on in. Can you beat me? Nope.
Like he's Jeeves. He's like the butler from Batman. What's his name? I can't believe it.
Alfred?
Alfred. He's Alfred.
So
Jeeves.
The big finish, body shot for Chito Vera. Then we moved on to debuting Zhang versus Danielle Taylor.
Can we talk about that body shot real fast?
Yeah.
That we're just starting to see it. Everyone
Happened a few times the night.
It's starting to become more and more and more prevalent. People are starting to realize the spots that you can't train for, and we know it's the body, and we're starting to see people get turned off left and right with it.
With that as well, I thought I saw a lot of really great fight IQ in a couple fights. Chito hurt him, I believe, with the right or left first, and then when Buren was just covering up boxing style, Chito was all of a sudden like, oh yeah, I'm going to throw to your head, wait. First the right to the body and then the left to the liver, and it was such a beautiful shot. Buren was just worried about covering his head, and that's that fight IQ. It does not slow down. Every fight card, you see something new, and so do the athletes.
It does not slow down. Okay, let's just slow it down a little bit to get into the next fight.
The next one was a bit slower. As we said, though, or as I was saying, Danielle Taylor likes to get on that bike. She doesn't necessarily turn and run, but she uses that lateral movement constantly and will not engage. And Zhang moved forward on the whole time. Zhang won that fight just due to the constant forward pressure and being in Taylor's face. Taylor's eyes shut a little bit, but that right hand at times scared me against Zhang, but Zhang never showed that it hurt her. She ate every one of those right shots and was like, okay, let's go, Taylor.
I felt like more damage was done by Taylor for sure.
But I believe the punch, I would agree with that, but the punch statistics were way, way higher for Zhang just because she was the one. Again, cutting that cage.
What is the numbers? Do you have them?
I don't have the exact numbers of that fight card coming up right now, but it was a decided 30-27, maybe 29-28, but Zhang decidedly won that fight, and it was just because of that.
Yeah, I didn't know it was 3 rounds that she won all 3. I don't have that one scored. I didn't score the rounds until we got to the main event. But maybe Zhang won the first round to me. Danielle Taylor won the second round to me. And then the third round was the decider. And I think Zhang point fighted. But Danielle Taylor had a little more on her punch. The problem with Taylor to me, I think there could be a 105 division or a 110. There needs to be something lower. When you see she's just too short for the division. It's the same thing as Claudia or Tisha Torres. It's nothing they're doing. They just can't get inside.
I don't necessarily agree with Torres because I think she has more of the body type, but Taylor 100%. She's an atom weight. Taylor is 100% an atom weight, and I will agree with that
Tisha Torres is, if not, she is the same height as Danielle Taylor or 1 inch taller is my guess. She's the second shortest person in that's the only thing I don't like about Tisha Torres' game is not her fault. She cannot get inside. And Danielle Taylor, to have the power that she has for the height that she has is kind of insane, but you're not going to see her do anything else here. And I'm kind of nervous for Zhang going forward.
I would agree. And as you were saying with Taylor moving forward as well, she rarely puts more than one punch together. Like, she's so confident in that power as well that she'll come in and throw a huge overhand right and not follow it up. And when she did put 2 and 3 punch combinations, it was usually in the last 10 to 30 seconds. And by that time, Zhang had already locked up that round, essentially.
The most interesting thing in this fight was the politics, in my opinion, of Danielle Taylor walking in with the thin blue line cop flag being a black woman. In America, if you live in any other part of the world, it's the most heated thing, I would say, is that thin blue line against the Black Lives Matter and that being.
But she's a part of the authority, so I could see why she's totally about it. I believe she was a corrections officer.
No, I think she's for the LAPD.
Or
I think
PD?
she's an actual police officer. But I understand that, but I think she's a black woman first. She was born a black woman.
Yeah, but because of that badge, she's like, well, I am, but it's us versus them. And she's a part of the good guys.
Why carry it at all? The good guys, huh?
That's the way they see it. That's the way they see it. They are the good guys, and the bad guys are the criminals. That's just the lingo that I hear from cop friends that I have.
I just think it's interesting that she chose to carry it at all and put it behind her. Like, it was. I just think politically, you're losing half your fans. Like, for no reason. She could have had an American flag behind her and lose part of the world's fans, or she could have it's just an interesting flag to carry, I think.
I don't know if I see people jumping off just because of flags. Maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe, yeah. Where do you go with Zhang, other than being careful against Taylor, how far do you think Zhang goes?
Not very.
A lot of people are saying she's the best Chinese fighter coming out of China in general. Did you hear all of that hype yesterday? That she was the number one top prospect out of China because she's 16-1, now 17-1?
I think she gets chewed up by even just a little outside Danielle Taylor. I don't think she handled Danielle Taylor everywhere. So, I don't know. I don't know what she does.
She's got many, many fights ahead of her.
I don't know how young she is either.
I think she's also in those mid-20s range. She's been a lifelong martial artist. Then we ended up going to Alex Perez, against Shorty Jose Torres. This was a one-sided beating. Humongous growth that we saw from Perez. We've been saying that this guy looks like he's the next level real deal. Shorty Torres has pretty much been pummeled his entire UFC career. It's only been 2 fights, but he's been on the shit end of the stick. First time around, he got lucky and ended up knocking out Brooks with that back flop. But this time, Perez threw over 105 strikes in under 4 minutes. That output is unreal. I don't care who it is. Perez looked amazing in there. He looked like a juggernaut monster. Love everything I'm seeing with this guy. As you were saying, biggest scorer of DraftKings, 134 points. Yep. Perez, I had on quite a few cards. He really showed out. How'd you feel this one ended up going? First round?
It was completely one-sided,
Yep.
and Perez looked amazing, and Shorty got picked apart like he always does. So now I'm nervous because I don't want to jump on the Perez hype train because Shorty got picked apart like he always does.
I want to say, though, Shorty Torres landed a few right hands as he was getting barraged on, and
he had
Alex ate him.
moments.
Alex ate him and was like, okay, I'm just going to keep moving forward. Never stopped. Was this a body shot as well? There was a couple body shots in here from Perez that really started to add up on Torres. I believe he was going body to head really, really well. It was fun fight. Can't wait to see him. Shorty Torres, you're barely hanging on. I think, well, he's 1-1 now. Essentially could be 2-0 against Brooks. But Torres has a lot of harder fights on the way. I do think Perez is somebody to watch out for. Might not be getting underdog money on Perez. I think he's going to be a solid favorite, especially after a showing like that.
Yeah, I'm going to be careful to jump on the hype train still.
Yeah.
I do like everything I saw from him, but I thought that the fight was going to go just that way, so.
Totally. Then we had Sherman Moraes versus Matt Salas. I always get it wrong. Sales. So this was a decision. This was actually one of the slower fights amongst the entire night. It pretty much stayed as a kickboxing match. Sales has a good gas tank on him. Is he the one that was Dominic Cruz's #1 training partner? Really turned it on in the 3rd round, but by that time he had already lost 2 rounds and ended up giving away the fight essentially to Moraes. Everybody, DC, Rogan were saying it like, wow, he's really turning it on, but a little too late. If you can't win the first 2 rounds and you can't finish them in the 3rd, it's just a tough game plan. I like Sales. I think he has a really good gas tank, good fight IQ. Young guy, I think he was also 23, 24 years old. I think we watched both of these guys. This is one of those fights where I didn't really see a big loser. It was a close fight.
If they're both young, I don't even remember it.
Because it was a decision. Yeah. There wasn't anything that really stuck out in there. Sales rolled with every single punch.
I remember Ramos versus Kang, and that was a decision.
Yes. But I felt in that one, Kang was holding on more so than Sales. Sales was in the fight, if not coming back in the 3rd, where Kang was just kind of like, oh, please let this fight be over. After that first round, Kang really slowed down in the grappling. That strength really started to diminish, and he just kind of stood there being a target for Ramos. The hype might be a little high on Ramos, or was it Kang just kind of making that fight a little bit grindier than it needed to be, because that's kind of his style. He really tries to wrestle you and slow down the pace, where Ramos showed, okay, he can be in there with a okay grappler. I wouldn't say Kang's some amazing grappler in there. I'm going to be tentative on both of these guys moving forward, but we had it right with Ramos in this one.
I hate to say it, I'm gonna have to re-watch these fights when their next fights happen, so I can see how so I can judge them.
Or see their setups and stuff. Yeah. Definitely there was highlights throughout the night that overshadowed these decisions in here for sure. Then we had Ricky Simone fighting M. Jackson. This ended up... Did this finish? This was
another decision.
This
span of time in the fight card was hard. This was the hardest part of the fight.
A lot of people on Montel Jackson saying that he was the new John Jones. He was all this. After our breakdown came out, I was listening to other guys, and they're like, this guy, he has an underdog shot. Lesbo was also saying he might not win, but he also isn't going to be completely one-sided beat out of there, and he didn't. He was serviceable.
Really, it had less to do with Jackson and more to do is I still think Simone is overrated, and I'm nervous.
I would agree with that.
It's less to do with Jackson. I think I made the point then. I just watched Simone get beat up 3 rounds the fight he was in before, and I kind of felt like what he did better this time, he controlled the takedowns so much better in this fight than his last fight.
That's what won him the fight, but the reason that Simone controlled those takedowns is because he was getting picked apart on the feet.
Yes, again, and he just eats them and eats them and
goes forward. Eventually, someone's going to have enough striking dexterity and power to give him 2 shots because he'll rock you so hard, and all of a sudden you'll look like freaking Jose Torres, where you're just doing this and you're eating 5 shots and you're like, what?
Yeah, I don't. The Damian Maia game plan can't.
And Damian Maia didn't eat as many shots as Simone did at all. So the Chris Lieben game plan of eating 10 shots to give 1 or get a takedown in there.
It's the takedown to submission attempt, and then maybe not changing enough up with the submission attempts for them to be lucrative. They just seem like a waste of energy. Oh, I don't know. I'm tentative on Simone going forward.
Me
and
too.
Montel, anytime you get the guys like Montel Jackson, who I believe he came off of the Tuesday Night Contender Series. So for the first time ever, immediately these guys are thrown into the limelight, like of having the pressure of being on a pay-per-view card. And then he now, for probably the first time ever, gets to train full-time. So I think... I still like Jackson going forward. Like, I'm interested in seeing the jump of him training full time.
Not both of these guys are so young in their UFC careers that they're going to be dramatically changing their game plans from fight to fight. And again, this is a huge step for Jackson to realize, okay, my takedown defense really needs to get on point. My gas tank, like, now he really understands what it is to be under those lights. So
they did Montel Jackson a favor, though, by giving him Simone, in my opinion.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Then we had another lopsided decision, Pedro Munoz versus Brett Johns.
You were right about this everywhere, pretty much.
Woo! Brett Johns. I mean, it was really all set up by those leg kicks, right? In the first round, those calf kicks really added up on Johns' leg where it was sticking. And then from that point on, it was just Munoz almost finishing him and then jumping for that guillotine.
Was this the fight that we were saying with the new rule set? There could have been a 10-7 round? Because he knocked him down like 5 times.
4 or 5 times in one round? Yeah. There was one round where it was 2 or 3 knockdowns.
Like a leg kick, 2 teep kicks up the middle to the liver.
Yep.
Maybe another leg kick. Maybe 2 legs, 2 liver, and an actual punch.
Yeah, actual headshot that rocked.
A takedown. I don't remember.
There was a few takedowns. As we were saying with Simone, Pedro Munoz stays with that guillotine. He jumps for it even when he could just keep striking. And when you only have one submission that's your go-to, guys get ready for that one submission. And that's what Brett Johns showed. He's like, all right, you're not going to get me in a guillotine. He needs to have a bigger repertoire, which I'm sure he does. But again, the fight IQ for Munoz out there hurts sometimes because instead of just backing up and keeping striking to the body with those teeps, he got in there and allowed Johns to recover all 3 times. This should have been a finish, first, second, or third round. And lower fight IQ for Munoz there. I mean, that leg was done. How done was that leg?
Legs were done. And I feel like twice in the fight, maybe 3 times he got kicked up the middle and dropped. Like, completely hurt.
Brett Johns leaned over.
And then Brett Johns jumped on him again instead of just standing up.
Not Johns. Pedro's jumped on him and was like...
Pedro jumped on him again and again when all he had to do, you're so right, if he would have just backed up, Brett Johns wouldn't have been able to stand up the second time.
Exactly. It's a Shan O'Malley freaking Sokhamthath where it's like, what?
But then we were saying, too... how hurt is it? How hurt are you? And how much do you want the break of going to the ground after you've thrown that many kicks? And this deep into the fight, you've thrown this many kicks, and the guy's still standing.
True.
So Brett Johns is tough, but I don't know if it's to the betterment of his career for him to go a ton further. Pedro Munoz is a tough guy.
That's a tough guy. I think it was a perfect matchup. Again, it's one of those situations where it's like Brett Johns goes back to the drawing board and is like, all right, to get in that top 10, this is what I need to do. I need to check leg kicks because you can't go throughout a fight without checking leg kicks when
Not
they're landing that hard.
Not anymore.
Those calf kicks add up real quick.
I feel like this is the fight card that should be remembered at what leg kicks will do to your life.
Yep. How they will stop you from moving. Then we had the heaviest guys of the night come through.
One of your favorite names to say.
Thiago Marreta Santos versus Kevin Holland, the debuter.
Have you ever seen the TV show The 100?
Yes.
I told my wife today that my name, my stage name or my nickname would be One Heda, just because it sounds like Maheda.
One hitter?
One Heda!
One hitter quitter.
That's what they call the like queen on the 100, like the one who gets the microchip put in.
Oh, really?
You are One Heda.
Oh, Juanita?
I know, that's what it looks like to me.
Juanita, yeah, it's just Juan lady style. One hitter. That's funny. Spanglish all over the place in the recap, baby.
Well, the 100 is life after people.
It is, and there's Octavia, which I really like Octavia as a name. I think that's dope as hell.
It's smart. It's clever. It's clever.
So everybody saw Santos coming in here and getting a finish, and all credit due to Holland. He took a lot of those shots, and you just saw a guy in there that I think people are giving a little more credit than they should be to Holland, even though he lost. A lot of people are like, oh, this guy's going to do really well. But, I mean, what does it really show when you're a punching bag for 3 rounds? At points in times when the box isolated Holland's tape in there, he was on the ground saying, damn, man, this sucks. Why you hitting me so hard? Because Marreta was just landing leg kicks, body kicks. When it got to the ground, Holland looked very limited. He jumped for that omoplata, but just gave up the takedown, and then it was just smash. It was Marreta smash that entire fight. I don't think Marreta moves forward. I don't think Holland moves forward. I think they're exactly where they should be in this fight, and it showed.
Holland will get another few fights. Do you know the whole story of him on the Tuesday Night Contender?
Refresh me. I don't remember all
So
of it.
he was, you'll remember it right away. Mm-hmm. He was the guy on the Tuesday Night Contender that his entire fight he talked to Dana White. His entire fight.
Right.
And I don't think he ended up getting picked up. So this fight fell out for Thiago Santos,
Yep.
and they called everyone trying to fill it in on short notice, and they could not find anyone to fill it in. And Dana was sitting at his desk, and he had a brain fart, and he was like, call Big Mouth. He'll take the fight. I bet he'll take the fight.
And he did.
And he did. And Dana said in this fight, he talked to him the whole time again.
Yep.
He'll get another fight. The fact that he stayed in there on 2 weeks' notice, took the fight, and went to decision with one of the toughest MFers in the sport. I'm interested. And he almost caught a few submissions on a weaker guy he would have pulled off. So I kind of am on the Kevin Holland hype train, even though they lost every round handedly.
Yes.
I have every round going to Thiago. I do think I'm interested in Kevin Holland going forward, and I think he shits on people's nights.
Kevin Holland, even his camp is saying that he should be a 170er in there because he's long and gangly, right. Which I'm like, dang, he's so tall. But as you were saying, I do think that Holland, all credit should be to him because there's many other fighters that would have quit in there and said, dude, this guy's hitting me so hard, I'm just going to quit. And he didn't. Again, at times, the cast was saying, look at Holland. He's being all loosey-goosey in there, and then he'll explode. And it's a really interesting game plan. I didn't see it as that at all whatsoever. What I saw was somebody getting beat to shit and completely not having the strength because it's the first time they've went 3 rounds against a pro, a real, legitimate UFC pro, and he would explode at times. I just love the heart for Holland. As you're saying, he does have a good upside. 170, he would... It'd be hard for anybody.
Well, and the length of the guy is at 170, that much shorter. He'd be able to even cinch him up in a submission that much.
That would be unreal. Then we had our Leslie Smith underdog pick of the week coming through.
Did we go with JJ?
We didn't. We split it between JJ and Taylor. I had JJ that I felt more comfortable, and you were like, I got Taylor. But if you picked one of those... We didn't officially.
Yeah.
I was
Okay,
just trying.
Didn't we go with the dude?
No.
No, we didn't
It was
end up going
between
with the dude?
Taylor and JJ, and we couldn't decide.
I thought
so
we
said
talked
pick
about
your
them
ears.
and then settled on some dude.
Nope.
I don't know, but maybe we didn't decide.
So, JJ's takedown defense came through, and that's what we felt here. That's exactly what we thought. We thought JJ had good enough takedown defense, and Viana didn't have good shots or takedowns. She just muscled people through, and her striking's very limited. That was the fight. It was JJ staying up, and even on the ground, JJ showed that she could stifle a lot of the submissions attacks. I don't think that JJ goes too much forward in this because I think it was all a hype train on Vienna coming in and beating a nobody. So I'm going to keep JJ exactly where she's at. She has fights that she can win or lose here. Vienna, she's got a lot of work to do, and I think people are starting to realize that now after this showing. I don't know how far I go forward with either of these ladies. What do you think goes on with these two?
Yeah, I think we called this pretty precisely. I actually have the first round going to Polyana Viana, and the next two going to JJ. It seemed like Viana tried the same attempt over and over again to get JJ down, and JJ was prepared for it. I just thought the experience was going to pull off, and it totally did everywhere here. I wasn't on the Viana hype train, and I'm still not. I think this is a perfect way. I think Viana's a perfect way for our girl Cynthia to come back in and have a great showing and get Polyana into Invicta to get some more fights under her belt and come back like an Angela Hill.
You can see that greenness in Viana, right?
I want her to come back like an Angela Hill.
Yeah.
I love this in him too. It seems to pay off right now for the 115.
Totally. You get your confidence up. You beat up people that are literally 1 in 6
and
or
JJ,
something.
it is what it is. Like, I think she's at kind of her...
She's right where she needs to be.
Munoz.
Yeah, she's right.
Like,
she needs to keep climbing. She needs to
Rose.
be beating Vianas, being underdogs, and she doesn't take a humongous step forward by any means whatsoever.
Yeah, this fight,
Yeah. For on the pay-per-view,
because even JJ with the win, it was a painful, not a lot of points. Painful.
It was very painful. Though you did end up earlier in the week, if you listened to Latb, you had almost 2-1 odds. By closing lines, it was plus 140 for JJ. So it better be who of you to subscribe and get that download quickly, because the lines change, and we will usually just talk about whatever current lines, which was good money here at Latb. Then we ended up having Carnero versus Cub Swanson at 145 pounds. First round, rear naked choke.
Moicano.
It was more of a neck crank. Moicano, Carnero,
Renato
Cub Swanson.
Moicano.
Yeah, he's got 28 names. But Cub Swanson, a lot of people said he's fighting for a paycheck in there. It kind of showed. Kind of looked like in there he was getting beat on the striking, on the ground. It was set up. How did he end up getting him down? Was it a double leg takedown by Moicano? Really just showing all the way around more advanced fighter than Cub Swanson, who's now a old 36-year-old fighter, probably a 50-year-old fighter in fight years, because that's how long Cub Swanson's been getting in brawls like this, and he's getting 6 figures to fight anybody, no matter who it is.
Cub's still putting asses in seats, and especially in LA at this point in his career, because he's probably grandfathered into his old contract before Reebok, so he's probably one of the guys still making really great money.
Yep.
He has a great name in the sport, and he's not in a crazy killer weight class that if he's actually smart about it, I hate to say it, and he's like, meh, so what, I'll go to the ground with these guys. They submit me. I don't take as much head damage. It's not because he's throwing fights. They're just better than him at his age, but
Yep.
no harm, no foul. I'd still be excited to see Cub on a card. I don't want him to be out of there yet, but I don't see a lot of people he's beaten.
I would agree with that. It's going to be, if there was a doorman to the UFC, I would qualify Cub Swanson.
I'm not
But he's a doorman for the top 15.
I almost said if there was a doormat at this point, but that is horrible.
No,
Cub
he's still
Swanson.
serviceable. He still beats Artem Lobov's out there. He just did. He beat Artem Lobov. He just beat Artem Lobov.
I
and
know, but
I had Artem in that. Remember?
I know. I don't.
Remember?
I have no.
I'm ashamed.
short-term
I'm
memory.
ashamed, but I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
It's a side effect of my medicine. I have no short-term memory. Yeah.
Carnero, what do you think? I mean, he's only lost to Ortega. That's it. That's it. And he was winning that fight for 3 rounds.
I really like Moicano going forward. I like his call out of Brian Ortega. I kind of
avenge a loss. I totally agree.
I had Moicano to win by decision, and he handled Cub everywhere. I thought he set up the submission with some strikes. So
Totally.
I really like him going forward. I think he's a sweet guy. I liked how he took the initiative to speak to the Los Angeles crowd in English. And as broken as it was, I thought it was really cute. I like how he was, like, I love America. I thought it was cute.
There was somebody else earlier on the night talking about being an immigrant and being like, it was Chito Vera, first fight of the night. He was just like, I love you guys because you allow me to do this. Like, he's an immigrant. That's why it's good to allow everybody in some way or another, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother show.
Yeah, because some people have no problem with immigrants.
Yeah.
They just want legal immigrants.
Oh, agreed. Yes, and which makes total sense as well.
Topic for another day.
But that was... I did like Moicano not using the translator in there because that makes him that much more endearing. You could see him in there struggling, but he kept at it, and he got his point across. Would he say, I love you, and then throw up an LA even? How do you throw up that LA side? I don't know the LA.
I want to do it the right way for the camera.
Hey, top!
Dun, 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 dun.
Then we had the co-main event. Demitrious Johnson coming in against Henry Cejudo. This was a historic one. A lot of mixed reviews out there. A lot of people thought it went the other way. I'm being one of those. But Henry Cejudo ended up winning a split decision against the longest reigning champion of all time, pound for pound best. Henry Cejudo quick to try to take that title away from Demitrious, and I don't think you can. Henry Cejudo isn't the pound for pound because he hasn't cleared out division twice. Once he clears out his own division twice, all right. But just because you beat the one guy that's done it, you don't. For me, it doesn't transfer over. How do you feel this one was decided? Was it a right call by the end of the night?
Well, it definitely makes the pound for pound talk more interesting because officially now every guy in the talks of the best pound for pound has a loss on their record, and we all think that you get better from your losses than your wins.
Totally.
So I kind of do like that. In my opinion, I had the first 2 rounds going to Demitrious Johnson and the last 3 rounds going to Henry Cejudo, and it was all takedowns, and that was the deciding factor of the fight. I had Demitrious Johnson everywhere. I do not, or not everywhere, because it didn't cost me my night at all. He was really expensive, and maybe it was good that he was expensive. I actually had Henry Cejudo on just as many cards, and those are the ones that won.
Paid off, yeah.
But I tried not to be biased, because I had Demitrious Johnson as far as my picks on like my Tapology, and even on the new thing that one of our fans told us about, Verdict. And so it's a way you can go through your fights. Everybody out there, download it. I don't know. You'll have to check on your phone to see if they have it on Android.
Yep.
But they do have it on iOS, and you can download Verdict. And so only for the main event, or the main card, so it's something that you want to open up during the fight, but it allows you to keep track of each round, which is so important when I come back and tell you, because like I said, my medicine allows me to have no short-term memory. So try the Verdict app, and then we can go along and do round for round together. So I wanted to try it.
Back.
Last night was the first night I tried it, and I do like it for the main card. So I wish I could give somebody a shout out. I will look back and figure out who told us, so I can give them a shout out on the next show. But. So
I thought that the first and third Demitrious had, and the second and fourth, so it was all about that 5th round. Takedowns, one for Cejudo. I don't want to say it.
It's all about that 5th.
And it was the 5th. I don't think it's a robbery, as you're saying, as we were saying last night. It could be what DJ needs, because again, it's hard to wake up when you keep beating everyone. Now he's like, oh, okay, yeah. I got someone to really train for. Or we could see the 32-year-old longest reigning champion of all time say, F y'all, my Twitch stream's making more money than this, and I'm getting paid, no more surgeries, and just do that, and he might be absolutely fine. I hope we see DJ in there, because guess who beats him other than Henry Cejudo in there?
And Demitrious may We'll find out. But maybe in the first round tore his LCL and maybe broke his foot as well. And so I felt like the whole fight, I was saying Demitrious looks like something's wrong with his foot. Everybody kept talking about the leg kicks on Henry Cejudo, but I really noticed. So he said both that. So we'll figure out, because a lot of the fighters, like we had the Usman where I broke my hand, and then nothing. Oh, nothing's wrong.
Nothing happened.
But let's see, because he said I felt like something snapped in my knee, and I know I broke my foot. So
the interesting thing, if there was a fighter who I thought broke his foot in there, was Brett Johns and Henry Cejudo in that first round.
Yeah.
Henry Cejudo's pivoted around his ankle every which way. I've seen people in the gym or at fights, local shoes, do that exact same thing because they're not thinking, and have that be the biggest injury of the fight for them, where they stretched or strained all of those upper ligaments, because you could see Cejudo put weight on it and then just made my stomach hurt.
Weren't you saying that MVP lost his belt with that, or Chandler
against Brett? But yeah, it was because of that outside calf kick that got his foot to stick to the ground, and then he rolled over it twice, and the ref was like, "You're done. Your leg's broken." Wasn't broken.
Just a pinched nerve or something.
A pinched nerve, and it looked like it was a much more severe injury than it was, and it really wasn't. But that's the fight game. What are you gonna do? Then you had. Where do you go? If there's anyone who deserves an immediate rematch...
Yeah, no offense, Henry Cejudo. I know everybody's talking about it. You're not going to get the TJ fight. TJ's not fighting Cejudo because Cejudo isn't a money fight. It's just not going to happen. It's not, and he hasn't earned it.
Agreed.
And the only thing he's earned is for DJ to have the rematch. That's
if there's anybody. If there's anyone. There was... Who else has just got the immediate... Coty, which we showed. Why you don't get an immediate rematch, Coty. Because you ain't going to win that immediately unless you're a long-run
Well, it just doesn't do anything for your potential stars, UFC, to now have them go through the mauling of... Well, Cejudo, yeah, because he pulls it out. Like, he wins the second time around. But it was 2 years afterward. It wasn't quick, immediate. Cejudo's...
Didn't get an immediate rematch.
He won 2 fights.
Right, what I'm saying is because DJ has had those 12 fights in a row that he won.
Oh, no, I do think that for the champion, if you've defended your belt more than once, you deserve an immediate rematch, in my opinion. But this is what I think if the UFC is going to have bullshit belts anyway. I will follow whatever rule set you want to set with these interims, with these bullshit titles and all this stuff, and these rankings. We'll talk about those later. I'll play along. Just be consistent with the rules. The strippings, I'll play along. Just be consistent with the rules. Like 365 days without a fight, you're stripped. Same for Conor, not for Colby. It's just, there's such, okay, if the rule is, if you sell over 1 million pay-per-views, if you're Ronda Rousey, John Jones, Brock Lesnar, or Conor McGregor, or GSP, whatever you want, you get. Everybody, shut the fuck up about who's getting a title fight. If you're one of those people, whatever you want, you get. Let's just all agree. If you sell over 1 million pay-per-views, you step into that category. If Cyborg Noon sells over 1 million pay-per-views, those two ladies walk in, whatever you want, you get. Whatever. I'm just using it as I don't know. That's just my opinion. If DC, if he's on that list, look, whatever you want, you get. You want Brock? Whatever you want, you get. DC, you're in that category now. So... Not that Demitrious is there, but he deserves an automatic rematch. That was
automatic rematch. Completely agreed. But as we were saying last night as well, if I'm Henry Cejudo, the first thing I'm doing, a guy that I'm 1-1 with, I'm gonna say, I'll fight the guy I've never fought before because I'm gonna have to fight DJ again.
And I'm gonna lose the belt.
And I'm gonna lose the belt. I know that DJ's gonna come back with a great game plan where I could be a champ. Which, how do you feel about all these champs? We're going to have 28 motherfucking champs, and all the divisions held the fuck up.
I know, Connor.
Are you kidding me?
All the divisions, 28 champs. And Henry Cejudo wants to be the triple champ because he also has the gold medal, which if you did a shot every time you heard it.
Thank you. You would have gotten drunk as a skunk.
He'll be the triple champ, which nobody else can say that. The triple champ. That's what he said at the presser.
God, it's disgusting. Then we went to...
But he did that. he beat the unbeatable guy. He
Yes.
is,
He
for all
deserves it.
intents and purposes, and you want to know the funniest thing, and I might be crazy, because I don't listen to a bunch of podcasts like you, but I feel like Matt Serra picked Henry Cejudo to win for the same reasons that Matt Serra won. And I feel like he's the only person.
I give this guy a shot. You know I beat GSP.
Yeah.
That's what. I give this guy a shot. Fucking
Yep. That exact thing. I think you can look it up. And I think, so Henry Cejudo, you're going to be fighting Demitrious again. I'm sorry. But if they make Robert Whittaker fight Yoel again, which Robert Whittaker says, I'm never fighting Yoel again.
Right? 100% the truth.
How is Yoel fighting at 185 again? That's another talk for another day.
Which we're going to have some breaks because it's going to be Tuesday Night Contender Series and then a 3-week break till the August 25th for our next card. So we're going to be able to get the landscape covered. White House having some dramatic photos being taken out of there. Again, that Colby is on the tip of my tongue. We didn't forget. We just have a card to break down, and then we're going to have a little bit of backstories.
We didn't forget about Conor Khabib.
Oh!
Yeah, we didn't forget.
Oh, we just trying to save you some premiere content so we can break that fight down and actually give it the due justice that it deserves.
Some people want us to break down Logan Paul versus whatever, but that might have happened this past
Nope, that
weekend,
happens like the 20th as well. So we got time. We
want
got
us
time.
to break down, and it's Logan and Jake Paul, and I think it's Logan Paul versus KSI.
Yeah, some YouTube stars. But we will do that.
I heard Logan Paul is like a legit wrestler, and I hear that KSI like is an okay boxer. So I don't know.
So the wrestler versus the boxer played out in the main event with another immediate rematch. Coty Garbrandt ends up losing at 4 minutes and 19 seconds against TJ Dillashaw. That exact same right hand. Exactly the same right hand that put down Garbrandt. Ended up doing it again. I thought that it was going to be a decision, that they were going to be more tentative, but those dudes picked up where they left off. They were swinging. It was an exciting ass fight. Coty can beat Dominic Cruz, can't beat TJ. It's a revolving door amongst those three right now in that division with a couple prospects up in the line.
Dominic Cruz shouldn't have had the belt, in my opinion. He shouldn't have had the belt. He shouldn't have beat Coty the first time, but whatever,
TJ.
he does. Or TJ, I'm sorry, yes. So Dominic Cruz shouldn't have beat TJ the first, but he does,
Yep.
and he has the belt. Then I think he was injured, but he fought for the money to fight Dom. So Dom kind of got an injured Dominic Cruz, or TJ. Okay, not... I know, it's so many names.
So many
Garbrandt.
actors, yeah.
This is actually exactly what Dana did when he was trying to pull Garbrandt's name.
Yeah.
Garbrandt really got a fast fight with Dom, and I think too fast with DJ. They kind of crushed with TJ. They kind of crushed. The only thing for Coty to do is move down.
Yeah, that's what sucks about this immediate rematch. Or he goes to the 8th spot and fights all the way back up. But it's going to be 2 years before he
I
fights
like
for the belt
Coty.
again.
I think he's awesome. I don't think he's the number 2 guy in the division
Nope.
because I don't think Dom was the best guy in the division when he beat him. I do love Dom. I understand what Dom did. And any of the haters out there that don't think TJ Dillashaw is your greatest 135 pounder of all time are crazy. You're crazy.
DJ.
So
right?
I think
I agree.
TJ. TJ is your best 135 pounder of all time, in my opinion.
So far, yeah.
I think he beats Dominic Cruz. That's everybody's argument.
I agree. I think, though, if they redo that match again, it's one-sided. One thing we do know for sure, Coty Garbrandt, again, when it's decisively 2 times in a row, you're done. It's over. How do you feel, though? People are saying it was an early stop because Coty was on his feet.
It was early, a little bit.
I think it was inevitable. Coty was hurt 4 times before that.
I think it was inevitable, too. I had TJ everywhere, but I think it was a little early. It was a tad early. He definitely wasn't as cross-eyed as the first fight.
I loved her saving him in there. And we didn't really talk shit on the refs too much, but there was some eye gouges in there throughout the night that were not called. Maheta versus Holland, who he's beating. Remember when I said, oh, look at Maheta's thumb, damn! And you both looked and were like, ah!
But Holland got a stoppage to the fight for a not dick kick that actually hit him in the stomach. So
there was some sketchy ass reffing in there, and it wasn't all just Herb Dean.
Yeah, I guess there's always sketchy reffing.
But those eyes, there was another fight where
it would be hard. You'd miss something somewhere.
Yeah.
So if I put myself in those guys' shoes, as much hate as I give the fucking refs, I know I would be like fucking Herb Dean.
You're never gonna
can't see it all.
Right.
That's why there should be 2 guys in there, 3 guys in there.
One on the inside, one walking around the outside, just like any high level wrestling match. When it's for all the marbles, the guy in the ring is number 1 ref. So the 2
I think there could be 2 guys in the ring.
Oh, no. But I'm saying, like, the guy in charge, the guy who makes the ultimate decision, is the number 1 ref in there. And the number 2 has a lot of leeway, but he helps. So if the other guy can't see, he's like, and he can choose to be like, oh, you did have a better angle. But when it comes to a really sketchy call, that's the guy you fall on. Herb Dean could use a help in there. The instant replay could help in there. But they were in California, so which is usually high level, which in California, you can't move to a opponent with your hand directly out. And who was doing that in the fights nonstop? Just fingers out, and there was 4 times it was called, and there was never a point taken away. Joe Rogan and actually Cormier talked about it for a split second. They were like, whoa, how was that point not taken away from that fighter?
It was in...
Simone?
Right before that. It was the boring fight that we were like, that was boring. Not Simone.
Marias.
Yes.
Yes.
It was the Marias fight.
Yeah, it was. And there was multiple eye pokes in that fight.
That they were like, the eye pokes, there should have been the point taken, and that would have cost the fight.
Because there was 4 eye pokes in that fight that were stopped. It was stopped and given time. It was
Marias.
Marias.
The Simone fight? No, it was Marias.
It was Marias' fight. But, I mean, who do you give TJ? Do you give him not Sergio
in my
Marias?
Opinion, is
Marlon Marias.
He's one of people definitely need to talk about TJ as one of the best of all time.
Yes.
The guy's next level. He's amazing. And if you look at everything we said he was going to do when he went in there, he didn't go in with that. He didn't look like this TJ with that hand up like he always looked, with that same footwork where he's bouncing in and out like a faux Ali and then swapping sides, where he looks like he's kind of like Yank Dominic Cruz's style a little. He looked like an entirely different guy. So to see a guy at 32 actually go in and change his game plan and look better and set up the perfect coaching, like, you're right, he because we were talking about it on the show where I was like, oh, he moved out to California, and you're like, he split trains. But it's so smart. Of course you split train. You know why? Colorado has that altitude. And that's exactly how... So he has a house still out there, and that's where Ludwig's camp is. So he goes out there half the year and trains, and then he also splits time with the training lab in California. California.
Yes. Where his family, though, his family lives there. His extended family lives in the area, so that's where they make camp.
And his wife's extended family.
Exactly. They're local Californians, but if
I
you're
just
not
like
watching,
what him and Dwayne are doing.
I agree, and that's where I was going to say, if you're not watching, again, Alpaca Thesaurus, who we throw tons of love out there for, this is the reason why. He was breaking down how TJ Dillashaw has learned with a sports psychologist or professional how to separate a fight from emotion, where if you watch that breakdown, Alpaca was just saying, like, look, TJ's saying, I have fun in there, it's a competition, it's about fun, and it's not a job, I'm not worried about it. Where other fighters are like, I gotta get the win, man, this is my job, this is how I get paid. And TJ's like, I'm gonna go in there and compete because that's what I do, and he's learned to separate
Super competitive.
That's been Ludwig, though.
And you know what I have to say?
That's all of his external coaches.
Everything we say about TJ all the time, something that both of us should have seen coming, because I think TJ is up there with Dominic Cruz and with John Jones for being one, or even maybe Pat and Rose as a little duo together, of Pat knowing exactly what Rose is capable of doing and then putting together a game plan, but just fucking intelligence in that octagon. TJ is up there, maybe the best, him and Dwayne together with a game plan. TJ listens to every word he says, just like machine intelligence, ring IQ. They got to be up there with the best of all time. That whatever's going on there is so Right. So what we were naive on is we should have seen that all happening sooner. We should have seen it happening sooner than he did the first time. We should have seen him figuring out that puzzle even quicker this time around.
Truth. But hey, we're only human
Little machine.
And yeah, you still ended up cashing out because the Bean went 10 out of 12. Lesbo went 8 out of 12.
I went 8 out of 12,
Woo!
but I felt like I re-listened to the show and picked my cards by where the fights I said I was going to stay away from, I did. I didn't put them anywhere.
Yep.
And the fights I said I was going to put places, and so I cashed everywhere and had a really great 2-2-7, which used to be a sitcom. Do you remember that sitcom on TV?
No, not at all.
2-2-7?
2-2-7.
Look it up if you don't know what it is. It's a show that takes place in Washington, D.C. It's a black family in Washington, D.C. in like the early 90s.
Weird. Family Matters is the only black show that I know of that was any good.
It came on, I think, like on I don't remember what night. That would be a lot to say. I don't know. How was the fight card overall for you? Did you enjoy it?
I thought it was actually, out of 5 or 10, what's our scoring range here?
I forget what we...
I think a 5-star. I think we're doing 5 stars.
Okay, 5 stars.
I would say it is a 4.5 because there was
Wow.
big drama show. Big drama. I mean, I almost lost my voice a few times in there. It was exciting. Early, late stoppages. Ankles getting broken. Turning of the tides. We had the greatest be defeated. How is that not a memorable moment?
Yeah.
So, I give it high praise. It was a great one.
I give it a 4. Just a half point lower than you.
Yeah, that's still pretty goddamn
Still good. And because I had such low expectations, which is almost better for a card to go into.
I would agree with that. We all thought because of last week's card, like, man, this is going to be a garbage bullshit night. Not at all.
I have an honest question, and we're definitely, if you listen to the show all the time, we are not 100% Connor Dick riders.
Oh, no. No.
When you see Connor walk in again, is your butthole going to tighten? Like when that music starts, that Irish.
I don't know if it's going to tighten, but my wallet's going to be a little empty because I'm going to be putting money down. I'm going to be putting heavy money down.
On Khabib?
Why are you giving away all my secrets this early? Hell yeah, Khabib!
You got Khabib to win?
I got Khabib. Yes, I got Khabib. There's a lot of time for that to change. A lot of time for that to change. But the interesting thing about that news dropping with Khabib and Conor McGregor is that there was a wonderful press conference with how many fighters? Where they're debuting Nico Montano or Shevchenko. And if you didn't see my baby girl, woo!
She looked
looking
good.
Looking at Tomb Raider.
She did look like Tomb Raider. That was
Good
a good way
as
to
hell.
put it. She should have had a whip hanging. Yeah. And
That's
a hat.
back home.
An Indiana Jones hat. So, yeah, we have a lot to talk about on our off weeks.
Definitely.
So, thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed 227. Love you.
Thanks for listening to Latb. For all things Lesbo and the Bean, head over to lesboandthebean.com or follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.